Hello. This is the first video in a series that I hope to create about raising Muscovy ducklings from, well, kind of before eggs, but eggs, like raising Muscovies on your own. And so our first video starts with conception. Children, no. So what you need to get started, you have to have a male duck and you have to have a female duck. There's no other way you're gonna get baby ducks. It's just not gonna happen. So there's a number of ways that you can start if you don't want to have a male duck in your flock or whatever. Option one is to just have one of each, let them mate, and then the eggs that the female lays will be viable. They'll be fertilized. And so the other thing that you can do is to look on Craigslist or Marketplace for fertilized eggs that are ready to be incubated. The third thing you could do is just buy ducklings, but at this point what we're talking about is from the egg stage. So yes, you can buy ducklings ready to go, but if you actually want to try raising them from the egg, you need one of each of the sexes, or you need fertilized eggs. In our case, we have fertilized eggs. Now the lighting is not good, but in this little house here, get out of the way, Speckles. This video isn't about you. That duck right there, that's JD. She's gonna be sitting on the eggs that we talk about in this series. And a friend of mine wanted to start a flock of their own ducks, and so they found fertile or fertilized Muscovy duck eggs on Craigslist, and so that's what she's sitting on right now. So those fertilized eggs are now developing, and what's going to happen is you're going to need to put them into a little nest area. The area should have sorry, the ducks just scared my dog. The nest area should have, ours are 11 inches square, so they're 11 inches wide, 11 inches deep. That seems to be a nice cozy size for this type of duck. And so they like to have kind of a bit of coziness. They will pull out their own down, like you can see all of the fluff there, that came out of that duck. So once she decided to sit on the eggs, she just started pulling some of her own feathers to make the bedding. It doesn't hurt if there's already some straw or hay in there. Otherwise, it's just bare ground in there. So it's like dirt, a couple handfuls of straw, and then the duck will do the rest. So here's a better shot of that setup, what a nest might look like. So it's really just some dirt, some straw, and then the ducks pull their own feathers to make the bedding. And you're gonna wanna put the amount of eggs that you want them to hatch in that nest, and if that is enough, they will go broody. It depends on the duck and it depends on the circumstances, but if that's enough to trigger their little brain, they'll sit on those eggs and the clock will start. If it's not enough, typically what will happen is the duck will continue to lay more eggs on top of that nest, and then at some point they will reach critical mass and the duck will think, okay, this is enough, I'm gonna start laying on them. So for this particular nest, what we did was we put 10 eggs down, and then several of our ducks ended up, I think, laying an egg or two on top of them, which were not fertile. And then JD decided to sit down and start sitting on the eggs. And so at some point we had to candle them and see which ones were fertilized and which ones were not. And we'll talk about candling in the next episode, but for now, those are the basics for getting started. You can use an incubator. We didn't talk about that yet. You can use an incubator. The odds of success rise dramatically if you have a real duck. There is no substitute for a good mama, because what they're gonna do is throughout the day, they are going to circulate the eggs. So they're going to move where each egg is. They're also going to rotate each individual egg. So the heat and moisture distribution is absolutely perfect. There really is no substitute for a duck. Your hatch rate is going to be way higher if you can use a real duck. That being said, you can use an incubator. It probably just won't have as high of a success rate. And I haven't used many, so I'm not the go-to person for which incubator make and model to use. I always recommend find a duck. So if you have any more questions about these beginning stages or how to set things up, please let me know. Otherwise, hopefully that was all clear and helpful.